Farm Week and FarmWeekNow.com journalist Daniel Grant connects rural routes for you. With more than 2 decades of reporting under his belt, Dan is the go-to source for farmers when it comes to commodities. Here's a bit about his rural roots.
I grew up on a grain and livestock farm near Roseville in Warren County. What I love about my job is working with people, traveling across Illinois, and visiting farms along the way.
Be it routes or roots, RFD Radio, FarmWeekNow.com, and Farm Week keep you connected.
It's where your home is built, your landscape is planted, and your children play. Land is all around us, so Illinois farmers have dedicated years to learning how to best care for it. Today, we're bridging modern knowledge with resources from Mother Nature to promote natural soil activity and choosing crops that enhance soil health. To learn more about conservation efforts, visit ilfarmersconserve.com. Preserving our water, protecting our land, providing our food.
This message brought to you by Illinois Farm Bureau.
You're listening to RFD Town and Country Partners, connecting you with the food you eat, the Illinois farmers who grow it, and the food-related events, destinations, and lifestyles that make our state great.
Welcome to RFD Town and Country Partners. On a Thursday, I'm DeLoss Yonke. Get a regular update what's going on in ag education. Luke Allen, Facilitating Coordination in Agricultural Education, FCAE. Luke, how are you?
Thanks for having me in, DeLoss. Just enjoying an overcast afternoon in Joliet, Illinois.
Yes, soaking rain on ground that's already soaked for a lot of folks.
It's pretty saturated up here, too.
Hey, we have some good things to talk about, though. Talking about ag education and growing and more programs, more teachers.
I love being working in a job that lets you use lots of puns like ag education is growing. Yeah, we have 11 new ag programs this year for the current school year that's actually wrapping up now. We're up to 345 ag programs and FFA chapters around the state, which is 30 higher than we had in 2003. When I graduated from the University of Illinois. So that we've had an upward trend for easily 20 years. It's very exciting.
Yeah, and more programs, that means we need teachers.
More teachers. So certainly the more programs we add, the more teachers we add. We've added 60 teachers since 2003, and one of the challenges we have with schools that are interested in starting new programs is the fact that it puts additional pressure on the need for teachers. So a big part of the FK staff job and something that all agriculture teachers around the country talk about regularly is making people aware of the need for additional ag teachers. And it's a really, really good job.
Someone would ask, okay, 60 teachers and 30 programs. So, but there are plenty of programs that certainly have more than one teacher in them.
Many do, yeah. We have quite a few. There's a couple of dozen programs around the state with 2 or 3 ag teachers, and then there's a handful that have even more than that. And the more suburban programs we start, many of them tend to be multi-teacher programs just right off the bat. The schools just jump head first into offering ag education. They don't worry about starting small and growing into it. They see the value in what we do in ag education and helping students learn about their food. And a good example of that is Rolling Meadows High School, just northeast of Schaumburg. Next year is starting an ag program. They'll start their first year with 2 ag teachers.
Wait. Northeast of Schaumburg, did you say?
Correct.
Now, how far north?
Rolling Meadows in the northwest corner of Cook County.
Okay.
They are planning. They're starting a new FFA chapter next year with 2 full-time ag teachers.
Wow, that's fantastic.
Yeah, it is. And so just in my region, I'm expecting 2 new ag programs next year. Rolling Meadows, in addition to a school next to Burbank by Midway Airport that has already got 2 classes of students signed up to learn about production agriculture and food production for next year. So I'm very excited about the non-traditional students that are wanting to learn about agriculture and learn about their food.
My assumption in a multi-teacher setup like that would be one classroom, one shop. More, one more in the shop or one more in the classroom. I mean, is that accurate? Does that take place in most of them, or what do you think?
Well, it can be. At some parts of the state it may be, but at many of the new programs I've started in the last 5 years, we don't even have an ag shop. Oftentimes they're focused on the science and business. They may be studying food science or environmental science. Plant and animal biology is a new course that the state of Illinois released this year, and so none of those really require an ag shop like we used to think of it.
Yeah.
We often are able to start facilities, which actually makes it easier for a school to start a new ag program because they're not looking at significant capital improvements.
Don't have to build a shop, don't have to heat a shop, don't have to pay for acetylene or all of those expenses.
Sure, yeah, but often we're looking at teaching food science, and so we may be using the school's old foods room or a science classroom, and it doesn't cost quite as much to set those classes up, and those are the things the students are interested in. So
that's a different skill set for the teachers to go along with that.
It is, and what's so neat about ag education is you really get to flex your creative muscles as a teacher. Not only do you learn to be a teacher, but you get to be a little bit of a generalist. So one of my jobs and the other FK staff around the state is to lead the professional development for our teachers. And my goodness, industry has come out all over the place to sponsor workshops and training for our ag teachers this summer. So we've got at least 10 different workshops planned all over the state on all sorts of topics. Lincoln Electric up in Romeoville is sponsoring a welding training for ag teachers. Hummert in St. Louis is running a greenhouse management training for teachers. We've got ag science and ag mechanics that are being taught by Still and Briggs and Stratton, and the Illinois Cooperatives Council will be doing a workshop on cooperatives at Western Illinois University. So our ag teachers really get to spend a lot of their summer learning technical knowledge and getting updates on what's going on in the industry. So that keeps our teachers busy year-round, which is nice because ag teachers earn more money in general than most other teachers.
Sure.
So it's not a low-paying profession.
Well, especially now that especially when it's a 12-year or 12-month as opposed to 9-month.
Right. That 12-month contract language was encouraged by the state legislature 3 years ago with legislation that passed, and that provides for a year-round employment for our ag teachers. We've gone from 12% of our ag teachers being on a 12-month contract to upwards of 60% now, and it's going to be significantly higher than that next year.
Now, we mentioned growing programs and more teachers, but there are still vacancies, I assume. There's still opportunities to be filled.
Absolutely. So we have 56 job postings currently. 32 of those have been filled. So we're sitting around 57% are filled. And so we are regularly contacted by people who maybe they're mid-career or they're towards the end of their career and they've decided they'd like to make a change. They want to become a provisionally licensed teacher and teach. Or people who got a degree in ag education years ago, maybe at a different time in their life, and they decide they want to come back to teaching. So they can reach out to the FK staff at agriculturaleducation.org, and we can help them get into the classroom through provisional licensure.
All right. So you'll be, I assume, at Illinois FFA convention, which, believe it or not, is now in less than 2 months.
The summer is coming quickly. FFA convention is coming up right in the middle of June, and it's always a great chance to see the accomplishments of our FFA members. The ag teachers are there, all excited, and it's always very rewarding to see the hard work that your students have done and watch your kids walk across the stage to earn their awards.
Yeah. By the way, if someone is listening to this and say, well, I have some expertise in one or more of these industry skills, they may not have a teaching license at the moment. But they say, I have, I like to work with people. I have some expertise in at least one or many of these industry skills you're talking about? How do we get the ball rolling, especially knowing that there are vacancies out there?
Yeah, absolutely. The FK staff can help you out. We can walk you through that process of getting your provisional licensure, and you can find us on our website, agriculturaleducation.org.
Simple as that. Yeah. And boy, the need is certainly out there, and you never know how these present themselves, especially if healthy things grow. So you may say, well, all the areas around me have teachers, but that could be one of those that goes from 1 to 2, and away you go.
A lot of our program growth has happened by programs that expand into multiple teachers. Absolutely.
Wow. Now, is that the one, Rolling Meadows in Schaumburg? So they're going to have an FFA chapter as well? I mean, they'll have students participating in CDEs and all of that?
They're very excited about the opportunity to do public speaking and job interview contests and to meet other students around the state. They're very, very excited to join Ag Education. Yeah, they'll have FFA. They'll do the SAE and record books, and a central theme around their new program is going to be studying food security, how food is grown, how we get food to people, and make sure that people have access to healthy food.
Oh, we got a lot of food companies plenty of food companies in Cook County, so that makes pretty good sense.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Very good. Luke, thanks so much. I'm sure we'll see you in Springfield in a couple months.
Have a great afternoon, DeLoss.
You too. Luke Allen, Ag Education Program Advisor. FK is facilitating coordination in agricultural education. Stay tuned. Great piece with Trooper Tracy later in the program. RFD Town & Country Partners.
Hello, I'm Trooper Teal at the Illinois State Police. April is Distracted Driving Awareness Month. According to the most recent report from the National Highway Safety Administration, 394,450 people were either injured or killed in distracted driving-related incidents. Avoid distractions while driving, such as talking on your cell phone, texting, eating, and even adjusting the radio. Wear your seatbelt and remember to just drive.
A message from the Illinois Farm Bureau and the Illinois State Police.
Are you preparing for planting season? We don't mean to be a pest, but here's a few things you need to know before you grow. The Illinois Department of Agriculture now requires special local needs labels, including new restrictions for the use of herbicide dicamba on top of soybeans in Illinois for the 2019 growing season. Did you know these additional restrictions go beyond federally approved labels? Remember, the label is the law. To find out more about these Illinois-specific labels, visit ilfb.org/label-aware.
With what happens on the farm can impact your family and is related to food, I'm Mike Orso with RFD Town & Country Partners. Smack dab in the middle of Illinois corn and soybean country, you'll find Kent Miles growing willows, other woody ornamentals, and fresh-cut flowers.
In the very first spring when I was laying out the beds, I had several neighbor farmers, the corn and bean guys, stop and wonder what the heck I was doing out there.
Nearly 20 years later, Miles has built his farm into a thriving business on 5 acres in western Champaign County.
We have about an acre in cut flower production, which rotates every year as far as adding some new varieties of flowers, taking some out of production that just haven't been profitable. And then the balance is in woody ornamentals, which is curly willows, winterberry, bittersweet, lilac, peony.
Miles built a career as a floral designer and jumped to flower and curly willow farmer.
We're winding it up. We generally start after we get a killing frost, usually in November.
On his acreage near Seymour.
We sell to wholesale houses, and that's one's in central Illinois, northern Illinois. This last 2 years we picked up a wholesale house out in Salt Lake City. They kind of found us through social media.
Mr. Willows, as he's known, also sells retail year-round at indoor and outdoor farmers markets in Urbana. His first weekend at the outdoor Urbana Farmers Market is coming up in May, and he shares a bit of what he'll have on hand.
That would be the 4th, which is the first Saturday. It runs from 7 in the morning to 12 noon, and we're looking kind of been looking at some of our flowering branches to start the season off with. We'll have lilac, the snowball viburnum. We might also have a little bit of forsythia left, some of the cherry blossom. We'll have tulips. We'll have lilies for that first market.
Kent Miles says about 80% of what we see in stores and at florists comes into the United States from other countries. But that's changing. Membership in the Association of Specialty Cut Flower Growers in Illinois and other states is booming.
We're up into the thousands. A couple, we're in that, I think we're in that 4,000 to 5,000 range now, where when I joined, I was just under 1,000.
While the cut flowers might last a week or two, the willows Miles grows and turns into wreaths can last a decade or more. You can see and learn more at IllinoisWillows.com. For RFD Town and Country Partners, I'm Mike Orso.
RFD Radio Network's Jim Taylor connects rural routes for you. You can trust Jim every morning for your overnight markets. He gets up early to help keep farmers on top of their game. Here's a bit about his rural routes.
I have the opportunity to cover something different every day and provide listeners with up-to-date markets, news they need to do their job and be successful, from legislative issues to crop updates and weather, of course.
Be it routes or routes, RFD Radio, FarmWeekNow.com, and Farm Week keep you connected.
Farm, family, food. Those three words best describe Illinois Farm Bureau. Farm. For 100 years, Farm Bureau in Illinois has represented and served the men and women who make Illinois one of the top food-producing states. Family. At the heart of rural Illinois are traditional farm families who work together through Illinois Farm Bureau. And food. Farm Bureau families are proud to grow the healthy food they provide their families and yours. Farm, family, food. The heart of Farm Bureau in Illinois.
For RFD Radio Network, I'm Katie Spangler, here with a very special guest. For Distracted Driving Awareness Month, you may have seen her hashtag-filled posts on Facebook or her hilarious Facebook Live videos reminding drivers to turn on their headlights in the rain. But we are just absolutely delighted to welcome Illinois State Police Officer and State Social Media Coordinator, Trooper Tracy Lillard. Hello.
Hi, how are you?
I'm good.
Great.
So, welcome to Bloomington.
Thank you.
Who is Trooper Tracy? How long have you been a state police officer? How was, Trooper Tracy, like the Facebook page, born?
So I have been a state trooper. I'm in my 19th year, and I also have a spouse who is a state trooper. He is a sergeant on midnights, and he has a canine. And so, we've just been born into this state trooper life. And I actually, I'm from a farm. He's from a farm. So we're born and raised farmers, and then we turn into police officers. But the whole Trooper Tracy thing came about last year. I've been Trooper Tracy teaching in the classrooms and teaching driver's ed and young kids about, the hazards of methamphetamine. And I talked to senior citizens about how to drive safe. And then I started a Facebook page within the state police under District 10, which was my area. From that, people just really started taking to my personal connection that I was making with people. Instead of being a robot, instead of being just a trooper that's barking orders, I made it more personal. I turned the camera around and I started doing silly stuff, and that has grown now. And so now actually they've pulled me out of the district and they've given me a platform. So I have social media. I run social media for the entire state police: Twitter, Instagram, Snapchat, Facebook. It's my full-time job, and I still get to speak. So I still get to go to speaking events, which is one of my favorites. But I am able to get our message out, whatever that message may be: distracted driving, impaired driving, Scott's Law, anything that we're talking about. I can use my social media platform for that.
So I guess backing up a little bit, you said you were born into an ag background.
Yes.
And your grandfather was an IFB county president.
Correct.
So you have these Farm Bureau roots, which is something we love here. Tell us a little bit about how you've incorporated ag into some of your social posts.
Sure. Farm safety is one of my biggest platforms, or one of my biggest messages, I guess. Obviously, I'm right there on the family farm, and so I'm able to use that information: farm safety, slow-moving vehicles, how to drive around a tractor, sharing the road. Any of that information, I have that information because my family, they're farmers, and so I am able to use them and share that message. And now, hopefully people will understand the whys and the why we want them to drive safe around farm equipment.
One of the first Trooper Tracy posts that I ever saw was you were talking about how you were the daughter of a truck driver, and you had shared a moment with a truck driver on the road, like you had, I don't know, you were your blinkers and all that kind of
headlights.
Stuff. Right, exactly. Yes. And so that I was hooked after that because my dad is a truck driver too. And so it was just neat to have that connection, and I was hooked ever since. So
that's great.
Have you seen a difference in your followers based on different, you've posted a lot of different things, whether it's farm or truck drivers or
school buses.
Safety, school buses, exactly. So which one of those, I guess, have you seen the biggest jump in your followers?
Oh, that's a great question. Truck drivers, I think, is one of the biggest ones. And typically, it's you're either a state trooper or you're a truck driver. And those are the people that work on the road all the time. I joke when I say that, but we have to share the road with these people. They transport our food. My dad is a truck driver as well for the farm. And I feel like when I make that personal connection, whether it's a truck driver, a school bus driver, a motorcyclist, because I speak a lot to the motorcyclists. I'm speaking to them. I'm complimenting them on what they do well, which is actually, I think, what draws the followers in, rather than me ridiculing or, making fun of a certain whatever, a driver or an incident. I actually take the positive that I see, and that's how I feel like the followers have grown. I think I've really changed the mind of a lot of the truckers in that community of why we do what we do. And we're not out there for quotas. We're out there to keep everyone safe. And I think they've really realized that. And so now I have followers that are truck drivers from across the country, as well as farmers from across the country, since I've used that farming message, that farm safety message. Motorcyclists, school bus drivers. I've done a lot of school bus safety stuff. My dad was a bus driver, part-time for the school, and he no longer is. But I can use those personal relationships that I have with my family, my friends, and then I can regurgitate that information out, and hopefully the public will see a different side of everything.
So you try to share the positive sides of things. Do you typically get met with positivity back?
Absolutely. Typically. I still have a lot of trolls on there. But I think the positive, there's so many people that have said, oh, I didn't realize that I didn't realize that my automatic headlights don't work in the rain. I didn't know I shouldn't use cruise control. There's so many people that I'm teaching educational moments, but they don't know they're being taught. And I try to do it in a fun way, whether it's the use of a hashtag or a funny video. But I feel like these followers now understand, and now they've got my back, and now they are able to share that message as well. And so my goal is to have safe drivers. My goal is just to have everybody understand that, and then also build that relationship with law enforcement and the community. So I want them to know that we're people just like they are.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for joining us today. For just the listeners that may not be following you on social media right now, what are those, I guess, maybe top 3 social pages that they can follow you on?
The Illinois State Police page for Facebook, it's Illinois State Police, and then also Trooper Tracy, and then the Illinois State Police District 10. So those are my 3 main platforms that I use, and obviously I have a lot more, but those are the main 3 that they're going to see the most content from.
Perfect. Well, thank you so much again. We're so excited that you could join us today.
Thanks. Have a great day.
Thank you. For RFD Radio Network, I'm Katie Spangler.
Thank you for joining us for RFD Town and Country Partners. Get out and enjoy Illinois.